good morning again to Icon Week, and we usually just ask if you can just put your microphones on silent, just so then we don't get any back noise. Obviously, feel free to ask questions. Are you happy for questions as we go along, or do you prefer them at the end, James?
Excuse me. Yeah, either. So yeah, if you want to stop and ask, just do so. No problems whatsoever.
Yeah, so put your hands up or put something in the chat box, like Sue's saying. It's really good to have feedback and comments for us to know where we're going right and wrong. So please do, shout out and say whatever you're feeling. At the end, obviously the presentations are all being recorded and put onto the Facebook page. And at the end, there's a little evaluation for each webinar. So if you can just spare a couple of moments to complete that, that'd be amazing. And I'll now
you mean the website, don't you? Not the Facebook page.
Oh yeah, did I say Facebook?
Yeah.
I was just looking at all the amazing stuff on the Facebook. That's what's yeah, that's the website. Sorry, where you join to come onto the meeting will be the presentations afterwards. And if there's anything you think of that you didn't ask in the session, feel free to email myself. I'll put you in contact with James. That's brilliant. Okay, James, welcome.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. So yeah, I'm just joining really. I'll introduce myself. Excuse me. So I'm James Foote. I'm account director for South Yorkshire for Bauer Media. Just a quick overview on Bauer Media, who we are. So we're Europe's largest media company, and you'll recognise us nationally on brands such as Magic, Kiss, Absolute Radio, Scala, Jazz, Greatest Hits Radio, obviously now, which is our newer upcoming station. But then we have local stations in each of your marketplaces. So depending on where you are in the country, will depend on obviously your local Bauer station. So for my area, Yorkshire, we've got Hallam FM, we've got Pulse One across Leeds, Viking FM across Hull, but then in other parts of the country, Liverpool, Rock City, Hits across Manchester, Clyde, Forth in Scotland, Pirate in Cornwall, Links FM around Lincolnshire, Gem across the East Midlands. Pretty much wherever you are in the country, there will be a local Bauer radio station. So the purpose really for me coming on, and some of you have probably seen me on these calls before because I've been on a couple, is kind of just to highlight how we can get the message of Icon and the shaking of the baby and it's okay to walk away kind of message across in audio, and how we can get that across on some of our radio brands. So we've done a big campaign earlier this year with Icon, with the two Sues, and we've come up with a great piece of creative, and you probably all have heard it, but if not, I will play it again toward the end of a few slides I'm going to go through in a second. And it's just really good. It's a really good piece of creative. It's a bit of an earworm. It will stick. It will resonate with our listeners. And it's just to show you how we can move that forward and obviously drive that. So currently it's going live across Yorkshire. So Angela Fawcett across Barnsley in South Yorkshire, she's a big believer in radio, getting the message out and how the success has worked for South Yorkshire. And we're just in the process, hopefully today, of agreeing with Leicestershire, which they did it last year, and they're looking at rerunning something again this year. So I'll just share, hopefully you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, we can see that.
Bear with me 1 second. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay, so just minimize that. So just very briefly run through this, because a lot of you probably have seen me slides before. So as I mentioned, you'll know us for Greatest Hits Radio, the Absolute Network, Kiss, Magic, Scala, Jazz. This is basically the new way of radio, and within the next 5 to 10 years, majority of radio listening will be via digital audio. So it's via a connected device such as smart speakers, mobiles, tablets, desktops, laptops, smart appliances, anything like that. So we can basically be super targeted. So we can say we want to target, for example, I don't know, Liverpool, and 12 miles, 15 miles, 30 miles, 4 miles, you know, so we can be very super targeted on location. We can target cities, we can target counties, we can target parents, grandparents, and we can target pretty much anybody within a location who are listening to a Bauer brand, as you see on your screen, from any connected device. What we can then do is we can track that listener. So once they've heard the advert, if they go on the website, Icon Cope, within a 7-day period of hearing the advert, we can track that back. And then we know that as a result of hearing the radio advert, they've actually gone on the website for more information on what to do and what not to do. So that's really, really good. Just play you a very short 60-70-second video on what the product digital audio InStream is.
Advancing technology means we can distribute audio advertising in more ways than ever. Now audiences hear commercial messages online, through the TV, through mobile or tablet apps, through virtual assistants, and InStream is the latest way to reach Bauer Media audiences, listening online to live and on-demand radio, on mobile and through their smart speakers. They're listening to brands like Absolute, Kiss, Magic, Hits Radio, and many other Bauer brands across the UK, giving your business the chance to reach new audiences. We deliver your content direct to your customers, creating an engaging, personalised and relevant audio experience with trackable, targeted campaigns for your products and services, and you get a comprehensive post-campaign analysis. We've achieved fantastic results with InStream for brands including Deliveroo, Jaguar, 3Mobile and View Cinema. We're ready to achieve success with your business. With innovative digital audio from Bauer Media, take your digital marketing performance to exciting new levels. Choose Bauer brands. Choose area. Choose InStream.
So it's just a very cost-effective, easy way to target your particular area of the country. So this is you get a real in-depth post-campaign analysis at the end of the campaign. So that will tell you the brands the audience were listening to who heard your advert, the times of days they were listening, the devices they were listening on, the trends, when they went on your website, all of those kind of things you get in a 4 or 5 page post-campaign analysis. This is kind of the first main page, and this is kind of what I wanted to share with you. So as I mentioned earlier, South Yorkshire are currently running a campaign, so I can't get live data because the campaign's active. It hasn't finished yet because obviously it's running through Icon Week, but they typically do 3 or 4 bursts of this throughout the year. So this one was back in March. We did 3-week campaign across Barnsley, basically, on the stations. You can see on the screen in the middle. So we sell on impressions and we base it on impressions. So an impression isn't a listener. The listeners are in the middle. So we did 166,000 impressions and we reached 20,533 unique listeners, basically. So each listener will probably have heard that advert around about 8 times. So it's normally not as high as that, but because we was quite condensed to Barnsley, and in order to get the impressions away, that means the listener will hear it more. But that's not a bad thing, because that means it will obviously resonate with the listener a lot more and a lot easier and a lot quicker. In terms of website conversion, so 210 people actually then visited Icon's website on this campaign within a 7-day period. So although that number might seem small against 20,000, bearing in mind that the advert is saying if you can't cope, you know, it's okay to walk away, visit Icon Cope for more information and help. You know, that's 210 people in Barnsley who were struggling or who needed more help, support, guidance, be parents, grandparents, friends, family, whoever it might be. Was 210 people, which is significant for the campaign that we've run. If it was a motor dealer or an estate agent, that would be a lot higher because it's a retail, it's a selling message. But for a awareness message, that's really good. In terms of listen through rate, again, we know if people switch off because they're on a connected device, it was 99.2%. So nearly 100% of people listen to the ad in its entirety, which is phenomenal. So basically, just to reiterate, we can reach the people who matter to you in the area that matters on some of the biggest audio brands in the UK. That's a key bit, really, because not only do you go on your local marketplace, so let's say you're down in Cornwall, you would still be going on the likes of Pirate FM, which is your local station down there, but you are going on some of the biggest brands in the country. So to go on Magic Breakfast with Ronan Keating, for example, and his ad break, it just gives a lot of kudos. It gives a lot of it just really stands out to the listener that, wow, gosh, this is an important message. What they don't realize is you're only going to their particular area. To them, it's a national radio station, it's a national advert, you're going to the country. So it just really gives it a real standout. And as you can see there, zero wasted because we're targeting the people you want. And on average, we have a 98% listen through rate. We've looked at costings, we've looked at pricing before. And I think maybe I've gone in a little bit cash rich because I know budgets are really tight within you guys. So I've kind of looked at an offer with it being Icon Week, and tried to keep it under £1,000. So you've still got your silver. Silver was bronze before, so it was bronze, silver and gold. Silver was kind of your entry level to give you a decent campaign. To put into perspective, I've just recently run a starter campaign or an entry-level campaign for a college open day in Barnsley. They reached 10,000 unique listeners and they had over 500 people back to their website. So based on that, this is kind of why I thought, well, let's look and see if people have got smaller budgets, perhaps, there's no commercial production because obviously that's already been made and paid. All you're needing to buy, in essence, is the impressions, the audience. So basing on around about a 50,000 impression, we'd probably work on a 1 in 5 listen. So you'd probably reach around about that 10,000 unique listeners. And that would also include a tracker and the post-campaign analysis back to a client's website. So that's the cheapest I've ever been able to do it, £950. It's normally typically £1,000 plus, and that's normally for about 35,000 impressions. So I've kind of done an offer which hopefully, if you do have any budgets, and whether it be for right now, we could literally start a campaign within 24 hours because the audio's there, it's ready, we can just put that wherever we need to put it. So we can turn our campaign around very quickly. Barnsley, again, using them as an example, obviously because they are my area. When they have their bursts, they typically do it around not only Icon Week, but also weeks when families are visiting families, friends at Christmas, Easter, school public holidays. So when routines are different, basically, and when children are perhaps sleeping in other people's houses, they've not got that same routine, and therefore they may be more upset. So that's why they typically have 3 or 4 bursts across the year. If again budgets, I don't know, you've got £300-400, but there's a neighbouring team, who also has £300 or £400, buddy up, put your budgets together and share the impressions. I just can't go in any less than £950 because it's a 60-second advert. Typically we'd run on a 30-second advert, but to get the message, to get the message across to the audience, with the tune, the sound, the earworm, it needed to be a 60 seconds. So that does cost more, unfortunately, when we air it. So so that's why if you've got budgets but only £300 or £400, which I know a couple of you have previously said to me that was kind of your budgets, yeah, we can buddy them up, and let's 25,000 impressions each across Birmingham, across Manchester, whatever it might be. So just let me know what you want to do. If you do have more budget, then obviously there's a silver, there's a gold, and again, what I always say is, if you've got £1,500 and say that's what I've got, and I can tell you what I can get you for that, but I kind of just wanted to show you the minimum entry level, so you can kind of see the lowest price point there, and that's it really. So I'll just play you the 2 ads again. You probably, I'm sure, the 2 Sues have obviously shared them, I know they have, so but I will just play them. They are fantastic. Obviously we purchased them outright, we own them, we just need to put them in the relevant areas really. So there's a male, there's a female, so we've got dads, we've got mums. So I'll just play them for you on the final slide.
Hush, little baby, please don't cry. Daddy's gonna sing you a lullaby. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy is coming, Daddy has heard. Even though I've had no sleep, you just won't stop, I can't get a peep. I'm finding it tough to cope with the stress. Feel like I'm failing, I'm such a mess.
Infant crying is normal, and comforting methods such as gently stroking, rocking, or singing can help. It's okay to walk away and take a few minutes as long as they're safe, but never, ever shake a baby. And don't be afraid to get medical attention if you think something's wrong. For guidance and support, visit iconcope.org.
So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Mommy loves you and so do I.
And really nice. And then we've got the female version.
Hush, little baby, please don't cry. Mommy's gonna sing you a lullaby. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mommy is coming, Mommy has heard. Even though I've had no sleep, you just won't stop, I can't get a peep. I'm finding it tough to cope with the stress. Feel like I'm failing, I'm such a mess.
Infant crying is normal, and comforting methods such as gently stroking, rocking, or singing can help. It's okay to walk away and take a few minutes as long as they're safe, but never, ever shake a baby. And don't be afraid to get medical attention if you think something's wrong. For guidance and support, visit iconcope.org.
So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Daddy loves you and so do I.
So yeah, and they can go in a rotation, you know, so I know we typically play the male version more than the female version, so they can go in whatever rotation, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, etc. That's, we can do that on the system, you know, to play one heavier than the other. And not only that, you can obviously then on your local support, so if you have local social media, etc., you can play it out on there, and you can also obviously advise your local area, you know, listen to our adverts on the likes of Kiss Magic, etc. And that's it really from me, so I'll stop sharing my screen, and then if there's any questions, feel free to ask them.
Thanks, James. Every time I hear that, I absolutely love those adverts. I really think they're fantastic, and we have been sharing them this week. I hope you've all heard them on our social media posts, so that's really good. And like you say, it's a really good way to get the message across. It doesn't have to be an Icon Week, it can be any time, and you're very flexible, and the you know, £950 and areas joining up. I think that's a fantastic way to, you know, share the Icon message. And like you say, about different times when the routine isn't the same, when people are going to families and things like that, and they're more stressed and anxious, it's just reminding them of that Icon message. Thank you, that's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
No
Has
problem.
any colleagues or anything got any comments or anything at all? Because obviously, you know, it's really important to us that you know, you do comment, ask questions, give feedback. Sue's got a hand up. Hi, Sue.
Hi, predictable, aren't they? It was just about the power, I suppose, of this way of reaching people that has always struck me. And I can always imagine, you know, people just, well, first of all, we ran an ad. It wasn't this one, but we ran an ad some time ago around Liverpool way. And a colleague of mine rang me up and said, I've just heard an Icon advert. It was fantastic. It was really good. Now, he was just playing the radio in his car, you know, and he was kind of a captive audience to it, and he listened to it and he heard it. And yes, his ears pricked up because he knew it was Icon and I was Icon related as well. But if you imagine somebody just, you know, in a hairdresser's, in a barber's, working in a garage, working on the radio, you know, all those places where radios are on all the time, they're going to hear this, and it's going to kind of drip into the psyche, isn't it, at some point. So I just think it's really, really powerful, and it's an important way of reaching men in a way that you know, our traditional health visiting and midwifery contacts as part of those really valuable touch points don't necessarily manage to reach. So I would just encourage everybody to have a little dig around the side of the sofa for those extra pound coins or what have you, to see if you can, you know, you can launch something. As Sue and James said, you know, buddy up with somebody. I think it's just it's another way. The diagnostics that you get with it as well, not the diagnostics. What's the word I'm looking for, James?
The campaign analysis.
That's the word. The analysis. That will be useful for your boards, for your committees, to be able to say we spent this much money and it reached this many people, there was this many impressions. So it's not like the money's going into a black hole. You actually know where it's gone and who it's reached. I'll shut up chuntering on now. I'm just really excited by it. I just think this is completely different, and it'll be very, very successful.
Yeah.
There's a comment in the chat box from Jess, who's one of our parent ambassadors, and she's put, it's really fantastic to get the message out, and it will encourage so many parents to ask for help. Absolutely, Jess, that's a really good
And I think
comment.
that's the key then. It's worth pointing out the 210 clickbacks we had earlier this year wasn't on this commercial, you know, because this commercial we didn't put together until what was September, probably, was it July time? It was end of summer, wasn't it? July, August time. So the what Suzanne Smith was mentioning when her friend heard it would have been the old 40-second advert. It still had a baby crying, but it was powerful, but it was nowhere near as powerful as obviously this one. And it's also worth mentioning Angela in Barnsley and Claire Turnbull in Leicestershire. They go to their local councils, and councils are paid for this to be run, because obviously they have, let me tell you the department in Leicestershire, because I don't know if you guys will have one in your area, but in Leicestershire it's being paid for by the early help and prevention team, because they have budgets, they obviously have things in place to get them the message out, basically to help parents in their area. So it is always worth reaching out to your local councils, your early learning, your foundation departments.
Absolutely, and like you say, that just those 200 people, they've gone and visited their website, so they, you know, it's supported them and helped them, hasn't it? I think it's
Absolutely.
and just hearing the same tune over and over again, it just resonates and makes you remember, doesn't it? So the more across the country it is, the even better to share that icon message.
Absolutely. And just the final couple of points I'll say is, one, when we first did this back in the summer, I've shared this before, but Penny, who she'd just come back off mat leave, heard us playing this in the office, and it brought a tear to her eye, because she really resonated with a newborn baby crying, you know, and she really, and that's how radio is powerful, because when we listen to radio and we hear an advert, you know, and some of you probably go, oh yeah, switch over to another channel, or it's the most boring bit, obviously. That's obviously what keeps the radio stations on air, but it's if you can relate to that message. So if there's a dog barking and you've got pets, if there's a child crying and you've got children, you know, if there's a siren and you're driving your car, you'll all look in your rearview mirror, because you associate the sound with everyday life, and that's then what makes a radio campaign powerful. And the final thing I'll touch upon, I don't know if Angela's on this call, I'm assuming not, but when she first came to have a conversation with us at Bauer Media, they'd had 5 infant deaths across the South Yorkshire area. I can't remember exactly the time frame, but since advertising and getting the message across, they haven't had any, you know, and I think that's really powerful, and that was so powerful we actually ran that this time last year on Icon Week in our news bulletins, just how the power and success of getting that message heard, you know, can help, because people know where to turn to.
Yeah, I think that is a very powerful message, and you know, you can't say it's because of.
You can't, of course you can't.
You can certainly say these are the efforts we've gone to, and draw a link between that and the fact that the incidence has reduced. So yeah, it's and Angela has been an absolute driving force behind this. So if there's anybody, again, I'm sure Angela wouldn't mind if anybody's thinking, how did she get it going? Who did she talk to? I'm sure she'd be, if you go to Sue, we can take those questions to Angela. I'm sure she'd be happy to do something and support people. But the point that you made, James, as well, about it doesn't have to be your pocket that you're looking out of. Look to your early help, look to your Safeguarding Children's partnerships will probably have easily that amount of money that they might be able to at least part fund the use of this digital media. So yeah, just so exciting. I think it will make a real difference. I really do.
Absolutely. And just, one final thing on Angela, I had a meeting with her yesterday morning, actually, because we're running another campaign very soon for Safe Sleep. And then we've got one going for Dry Mess Day, about the importance of not drinking when pregnant. Angela is very good, and she her words yesterday was, me, I go out with my begging bowl, so if anyone wants tips and advice on how to get pots of money, Angela is the lady, because she never pays for the campaign. She always manages to find people and departments and bodies to fund the campaign. So whether she puts a strong message across about the important, I have no idea, bless her, but she believes in radio so much that she's very good with a begging bowl. So she's definitely worth, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind anyone reaching out to her. She's very good at finding money.
Yeah,
absolutely. So if anybody does want any more information, do email me, and I can put you in touch with James and Angela to get more information. It's like you say, it's a great opportunity, and I love it. It's fantastic. Thank you. I do.
Brilliant. Thanks, James.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And yeah, if anyone wants to have a chat one-on-one, I've done that with a couple of you before, email me, then the Suze will obviously share my details.
Absolutely. I'll put the evaluation link for the webinar in the chat, and our next webinar, which was at 11 o'clock, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, Lois isn't able to present then. She's going to present tomorrow instead at 3:30. So our next session now will be this afternoon at 1:30 with Giles Haythorne, who's a consultant paediatrician. He'll have an amazing presentation, I'm sure, some insightful things that he'll have. So apologies for that, but Lois, it's unforeseen, these things happen, but she'll be here tomorrow at 3:30. I will amend it on the website, and I think we've sent out a little Facebook message as well, but if anybody asks, please let them know.
So we'll see everybody at 1:30 for Giles, talking about the Major Trauma Network and how it supports ICON. So that'll be smashing. See you later then, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Cheers, everyone.
everybody.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
James. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.